Hi guys, my name is Girish, Bali, your host for today for Back to Basics. Wanted to give you an update. Starting next Friday, every episode on Fridays, I will give you a slight preview of the next week's episode. So hope you will stay tuned till the end of the episode. So far, you're giving me so much support and love. Just keep on giving, keep on spreading the news. Back to Basics is here to stay. God bless. See you next week. Hi, friends. My name is Girish Bali, your host for today, and welcome to Back to Basics. I hope you enjoyed the last week's episode. And if you have any comments or concerns, do let me know, and we'll fix that issue for you and get you, a good comments there. So today, the guest that I have today she's a clinical psychologist, a fitness trainer, a mindfulness teacher for doing this over 30 plus years. She's developed a innovative fit tone flex program. We'll get into that, and some combined exercise in the mindful and self passion all in one in program. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, that program is for 12 weeks. And we will talk about that in detail, how she started this whole thing. And then we'll chat with her with some few other details about her life and about what she has done and what Back to Basic means to her. Okay, so her name is Penelope Lane. Penelope, thank you for coming on this show today.
My pleasure, Girish. Hello to you. Thank you.
Yes. So I spoke with you last time, and I'm glad that you came on the show. And thank you again for sharing your wealth of knowledge for the last 30 plus years into this show.
Mm-hmm. My pleasure. Thank you.
So Penelope, the first thing is, what does Back to Basic means to you?
So when I kind of conceive of that, the two things that come to mind are the mind and the body. So the basics is the present moment. So you don't get more basic than the present moment. So
Yes.
And we're not often in that. So the invitation and the practice of mindfulness into one's life has the potential of bringing you back to basics, so bringing you back to the moment. And exercise and movement is a really, really good way of embellishing that, so that you're kind of relating to the mind and moving with the body to bring yourself back to basics. Yep, back to the moment. Yeah,
back to the moment. So I think I should change my show to Back to Moment instead of Back to Basics. But yes, you bring up a good point. Sometimes we forget the things around us, and we need to focus on what's today, actually, instead of what happened in the past and what happens in the future. Okay, because nobody can really see the future, but the only future that you can do is today, and there's nothing better wrong with that. So Penelope, a little about your life. I found out by accident that you are a marathon runner, and I think I should say a half marathon runner. So
yes.
do you want to explain about that?
Yes, so it's a half marathon, still 22 kilometers. I'm not quite sure what that is in miles.
Yes, that's roughly 13 miles.
And so I was, we have an expression in Australia, egged on. I don't know if you have that in the US. Yeah, okay. So I was egged on by a doctor friend of mine who has been running half marathons for many years, my age, 63 this year. Okay. And I kept congratulating him on his Facebook page. Sure. And then about 18 months ago, he said to me, how about stopping all this congratulations and start working on a marathon for yourself? So my ego coming to the forefront. And so I did. So I trained and in 2019 ran my first and only, but maybe more, half marathon. Yeah.
Did you train for this marathon? Did you get prepared for this?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there are some people who don't and either last the distance or don't. So it was about a 3-month kind of lead up to it. And it involved, I jog ordinarily, but I just kind of stepped that up a bit and kind of gradually ran more and more kilometers to build up. I didn't actually ever run the 22 my maximum was 15, and that was exhausting. So
Sure.
on the day I was thinking, oh my goodness. But then, as people say, this kind of energy and this kind of, I don't know, I guess it's the endorphins or whatever it is. You just
Sure.
kind of says, I've set this for myself. I know I can do this. And of course, the mindfulness, and the self-compassion, which I've been practicing for so long, it just kind of came all in those moments. And, I did get over the finish line. The last 2 kilometers were very painful, physically more than anything. But, thank goodness for these practices. And as they say, they got me across the finish line.
That's good. That's what we want. We want the finish line. It doesn't matter the time, but
Exactly.
you just want to put a check mark saying that you completed it. So, Penelope, do you think, and we're going to get in the detail of it, but do you think this was due to the Flex program that you created, that you have more stamina and more strength in your body to complete this? Because you said earlier, just a few seconds ago, that you did the 12 and now you did 22. Do you think that program helped you?
Yeah. So the essence of the Fit Tone Flex program is that combination of physical stamina. So we would call that aerobic or cardio fitness. And, you kind of get that through walking and cycling and swimming and jogging. And so where your heart rate's kind of getting up to a certain point.
Yeah.
And then the strength. So it's really important to have a strong body. So, the core being strong, your abdominals and your pelvic floor and all that kind of stuff. A kind of sense of just a strength in your body, the big muscles and the little muscles.
Yes.
And so strength and resistance training is really, really important. And then that kind of sense of flexibility and mobility. So you know where your body is in kind of time and space. And so Fit Tone Flex is about all of those elements. And then to kind of the foundation of that is the mindfulness and the self-compassion. So you've got that positive self-talk happening as you're working your body in all those different ways.
And is this program focused to kids or women or men?
It is for women, and I guess of a certain age. I mean, I'm not kind of hard and fast about that, but the way that I kind of picture it is women over 45. I'm only imagining because with my age, maybe women who are younger may not be so attracted to the program. There's lots of wonderful, younger women out there with doing similar or kind of similar programs, and not men just yet because there hasn't really been an interest. So, I mean, I'm really open to working with men. I love working with men, but the program hasn't kind of been attractive to them for some reason. But yeah, very open to that in the future.
Okay, and the reason why do you think that men are not interested in this program? Do you think that there's have you thought of this and sat down and saying, why is there so much of this gender versus the other?
Look, I don't really know the answer to that. I haven't actually asked, except that partners of women who've been involved with programs like this with myself. So there's just other opportunities. So there's gyms around for them. They're not really wanting to embrace so much the element of self-compassion, which is it just kind of makes me feel a bit sad because self-compassion is for everybody. It's not just a female kind of thing. Yep. And I think there's just so many other programs around, and men, not this is generalizing, but tend to focus on the physical kind of strength side of things. And so I guess my job is to explore ways of inviting more men to bring these really important elements into their life of mindfulness and self-compassion and movement. Yeah.
So, Penelope, so let's go back in memory lane a little, okay? And I think back in the 80s, if I'm not mistaken, you had a private psychology practice, right? So can you explain about that practice and how you said, you know what, this is no more for me, and then this is how it all started? Can you explain that?
Okay, so I've had a clinical psychology practice since around my children were born, which is over 30 years, and that's been that's kind of morphed from. I started off in the sexual therapy area, And so that was in my early 30s. And then when I discovered mindfulness about 5 years after starting, I decided to kind of morph out of that and then just be a generalist. And so treating depression and anxiety and low self-esteem. And as part of that journey, I started my own therapy and got really into, because my therapist was a meditation teacher, mindfulness teacher, and he was really instrumental in supporting me to build my own mindfulness practice, and also to then teach it. He kind of invited me to teach it, which was lovely. And then, kind of as a backdrop to that, I discovered exercise, and I actually discovered exercise when I fell pregnant with my son and started swimming, because there was that sense it's not just about me now. It's not just about my health. It's about the health of my to be born. I didn't know that, but my son. And so I started swimming, and then after that, just the energy involved with the stamina with bringing up children, because my daughter came a year after that, and so just started with swimming and then going to jogging, and then I haven't stopped since then. Yeah.
Do you think that is your back to basic moment? That's when you decided that you're going to go and start this program for yourself?
My back to basic moment was when I was in gyms and I was learning about meditation, and this kind of a brainwave came to me. Wow, what if you brought meditation into gyms? And that's just like this was in the early 90s, and certainly in Australia, maybe not so in the US, but in Australia, that was a really like out there idea. But because I had really young children, I had this really successful practice. I was married at that time, all that kind of stuff going on. And I think probably, to be honest, a crisis of confidence. I shelved it. I'd actually kind of had some money to invest it, and I had a business plan and all that stuff, but I shelved it and I kind of forgot about it. And then it was at the, this sounds very cliche, but it was at the finish line of the half marathon that it came back to me. I was walking around looking for my supportive family, my children, see where they were. And it just kind of came to me, oh my gosh, I had that idea when in my 30s. And that was 18 months ago. And then I've kind of slowly developed what I now call the Fit Tone Flex program. And I have this online course now. Yep.
So basically this program was pretty much like a epiphany in your head saying, yes. Oh, it's a small idea, but actually if you think about it, you just went down to the basics and you went to the basic mode, I should say. And you said, you know what, this is what I want to do. And I think it internally, if you think about it, it actually makes you happy versus making others happy. And I think that's why you started this.
Both. Yeah. Well, I mean, both. I mean, I know how valuable it's been for me. I mean, that kind of, that combination, that connection, that marrying between those three elements of, body, mind, and heart. And I know how valuable it's been for me. So, yeah, I want to share it.
So, Penelope, thank you so much for that. So, so the world around us is very fast, okay? And we don't think about the world around us. We actually should be thinking about us, meaning me, like you, You think during this whole pandemic that we have come across, before and after, do you think there is a difference in people's lives now that they're saying, oh, you know what, I could have missed this, or I did miss this, and now I'm cherishing this? Do you think there's a little change on that?
I'd like to think so. I don't know. I do know from the kind of psychological point of view that we might have needed a little bit extra time for the habits to change. I mean, I can only really speak from Australia because
yes.
I live in Australia. I have an understanding of the world, but because we have a very different experience of COVID, we kind of locked down very early on, and so we've been able to manage it. And my sense of just the communities that I live in is no, people are talking about their values changing and their perspective on life changing, and they were talking about that during the initial lockdown.
Yes.
That, hey, I look around now and I really don't see unfortunately, those changes. I get it might be different in, say with you guys and in the UK, where you've had these incredibly long moments of lockdown.
Yes, yes, yes.
I really hope that there's been a kind of a
Well, see,
shift.
if you think about it, it's more of a domino effect. If you really think about it, okay. And why do I say domino effect? You're sitting down with your family. Yes, that is a good time. That's a good basic back to basic moment. But if you really look at it, we're just sitting around and eating and eating and eating. So basically, then you have heavy weight. Okay,
Mm,
then you have no exercise. Then on top of that, kids are 24/7 at home while, with school and everything and online and everything, right? That's more mental problem. Okay?
yeah.
So um I think it's a tough time to go come across this. And I
Mm,
think we will eventually get there. But I
mm,
think there are certain times that I've seen people have gone out for a walk and said, you know what, let me just concentrate on myself
mm,
instead of others. Yeah, I guess I was speaking with you when we first started this whole entire thing, and I explained to you that we were walking and I listened to music. Do you think that's a proper thing to zone in, or is that zone in is a incorrect word? But I don't know. You tell me. So how do you feel about that?
I mean, my understanding personally and kind of theoretically about mindfulness is that you can choose to be mindful of anything.
Yes.
It's really about kind of deciding. So rather than just kind of happening in a haphazard kind of way, it's
Hmm.
really we call it creating an intention. So you're creating an intention to focus on something. So if you're walking along and it's music, it will be a more valuable kind of deep experience if you've chosen, Girish, to kind of say, I'm going to be walking along and mindfully focusing, or whatever word you want to use, on the experience of the sound of the music,
Hmm.
and the experience of my body moving through time and space. If you make that decision or that intention that that's what's going to happen for you,
Hmm.
and then bringing your attention back to that focus when you get distracted, that's a mindfulness. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So Penelope, this the Flex program that we have, okay. How do we contact you, and how do we is it a, obviously I'm pretty sure it's going to be online because there's a lot of things going happening there, but how do we contact you? How is this a private course? Is this a group thing, or is it a Facebook page? You want to explain about that?
Well, it's actually both. So I have a website, Fit Healthy Grounded Women, plural.com.
Hmm.
And it's an online course, a 12-week course, and all of the details are there on the website. There's also a private Facebook group which you ask to join. And again, that's called Fit Healthy Grounded Women.
Hmm.
And yeah, that's how you contact me. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much. So now, Penelope, before we, finish off this episode, do you recommend any books uh, that people can read about anything, whatever you are reading nowadays?
I like a combination of the. This is just my particular sort
Sure.
of bent. A combination of the what would you call, like the traditional mindfulness focused books. So something like Joseph Goldstein's book on mindfulness. I mean, it's kind of would be heavy going as a first kind of introduction to mindfulness. But I like kind of that. I guess you might kind of a bit more kind of serious. It's really kind of goes into a lot of in-depth and kind of Buddhist kind of historical kind of perspective of mindfulness. So I like to read and go in and dip in and out of books like that. And then, look, there's so many books. There's Gary Gark's book, Pause, Breathe, Smile, I think it is.
Yes.
Mindfulness is Better Than Chocolate, David Mitchie. I can't think of the name of it, but she's the partner of Daniel Siegel, and they run the Mind Life
Hmm.
Institute. Carolyn or Carol, I think. She's written a book on mindfulness specifically for women. That was a more recent publication, and I found
Okay.
that really valuable.
And I think
And
Penelope, if I'm not mistaken, I've emailed you and you have given me a list. So
yes, I gave 5 days. That's right.
yeah,
Yes,
that's
yes.
right. So, guys, so she has sent me a whole bunch of list of books to read about many different aspects and many different topics. I will post that into the episodes, and you can take a look at that and enjoy your reading, and then give us feedback. Give feedback to Penelope, give feedback to me, and we're all happy to help each other out in these tough times that we're facing. So Penelope, before we leave, just one last thing. So what is the next project for you?
Oh, this. what I'm doing now to really get in and support people, support women, and hopefully men in the future, work through this program. Yep, because it involves a lot of. It's not just signing up to the course and then you're left on your own.
Yes.
I'm in there, kind of walking along with you, lifting weights with you. Not really, but you know.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I know what you. I know what you mean on that part. Yes.
Yes. That's my project. Yep.
Okay, and then one last thing, if you don't mind, what is your last words before you leave today from this show?
The first thing that came to mind was be kind to yourself. Treat yourself like a good friend. Yep. Be mindful and move.
Yes, and since I've contacted you, you have been a dear, and thank you so much for coming on this show.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. So, guys, we spoke with Penelope Lane, and she has explained to us her journey and this whole episode. Now, before we leave today, I want to give you a last quote for the day. And it actually is not a quote, it's actually a movie line from a famous line from Star Wars. Life moves pretty fast if you don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it. Just like what we said, be kind, be within yourself, and touch yourself, and be in the moment of being, with the chaos around you. So just enjoy your day, and thank you again, guys, for joining in, and see you next week. And as always, I keep on saying, everything in life is going back to basics, and that's what we did today, guys. Enjoy your day. Thank you. Saving later is better, or saving now is better for these teenagers?
I have many great friends that some of them in high-tech industries. They have very high-paying careers, and they didn't always believe in starting to invest and save early.